Happy Thursday, Eagles Nation. Welcome to today's edition of Bird Buzz. I'm your host, Stephen Hellmann. Wow. Yesterday, what a day. What a day. Eagles trading up to essentially draft Carson Wentz as their future franchise quarterback. And hey, you guys know, I'm Team Bradford. I love Bradford, and I think Bradford can be the guy. But you know what? Clearly, Howie Roseman, Doug Peterson, Jeffrey Lurie, they think that Carson Wentz is going to be the guy. But I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. I could not believe that happened. I can't believe that they made that move. But you know what? Hey, kudos to them. You know what? Howie Roseman, say what you will about him, whether you like the move or not. He put his neck out there. He said, I'm going to do this, and we're going to win a championship because of this. Because if this doesn't work, if Carson Wentz blows up in his face, Howie Roseman's gone. Because this is Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson tying their horse to Carson Wentz, saying, if this works, we're geniuses. If this doesn't work, we're gone. So you know what? I give those guys credit. You know, they're really putting themselves out there. But the Eagles have to be smart about this. If they go and trade Sam Bradford and force Carson Wentz into the situation right away, it's just not going to work. It's like a job. It's like if you want to get another job, you get a couple of job interviews at other places that of a similar variety. And you practice. You have practice interviews. You get an idea what it's about. Then you go to the job that you want. You can't. You know what? It's also like a girl. If you're really like a girl, you're not gonna run in guns blazing, doing everything you got. You gotta do your due diligence, do your homework, plan it, and have a situation where you can set it up where it's a good situation for you to succeed. You can't just run into things and rush into things and be like, oh yeah, this is it. This is gonna work. That's not how things work in life. That's really not how things work in the NFL. You have to take your time, do your homework. You got to do some research. You got to ease in. You got to make it a good situation for this quarterback to succeed. Because if you just throw him in here, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to look like a bust. Let's put this guy in a favorable situation to win. Unlike the Cleveland Browns, unlike the Rams with Sam Bradford, unlike the Redskins with RG3. Let's give this guy a favorable situation, and let's give him a shot. Because you know what? Listen, I think Bradford's the guy. I think he can be the guy. But you know what? I'm going to embrace Carson Wentz because he's the future now. But you got to put him in a good spot to win. You can't just throw him in there. So let's go to the questions right now. We got a few here for you. Dylan Dopplermare asks, with Howie saying Bradford is the guy, who are we drafting at pick number 2? We're doing a quarterback. And we trade up to get another guy, that would be absurd. I think we're definitely doing a quarterback. We're going to either do Goff or Wentz. It's looking like they're going to be Wentz. I know in my last video on the weekly chirp I said, you don't even know if you're going to get Goff or Wentz. It looks like that the Eagles did their homework. They definitely talked to the Rams, and the Rams told them, or Goff's agent said, hey, listen, the Rams are going to take Goff. Wentz is yours if you want him. So, you know what? I think the Eagles did their homework, and they're going to get Wentz. Showtime 804 asks, do you think this trade is a mistake? We are not a team who's a QB away from being a great team. Too many holes to draft a third-string QB. And you know what? I thought the same thing too. And I do think, and I agree with you, that we are not a QB away from being a great team. But I do think we are getting there. And I think finding your franchise quarterback is the key. And that's what we have to do. And you know what? Yesterday, at my desk at, I guess, at 1 o'clock the news broke, I was living. But you know what? I thought about it more and more, and then I shot the reaction video yesterday. And you know what? We need to get our quarterback. And yeah, we did give up a lot. But look at the defense we built. We didn't give up any assets on defense. We're probably going to sign Fletcher Cox very soon. And I think we're building the right team. It is going to take a while. We're not a QB away from being a championship team. I get that. We still got an O-line to build up. You know, Ryan Matthews rolling out as a running back, like that's a question mark. Our receiving core could probably use a little work too. You know, you could definitely use some help out on the defensive line a little bit. Linebacker, you're putting all your chips in Jordan Hicks. I mean, your best spot is secondary right now, and you have you have Eric Rowe coming off one good year, and you have a stopgap with Nolan Carroll. So yeah, you do have a lot of question marks on this team, but you know what? I do think that if they can find their guy and they're slowly building everything together, I think they can do something great here. At that Ninja Zay asked, Josh Norman to the Eagles, trade Bradford to create some cap room. That is a very interesting theory. I don't think you can trade Bradford, because if you trade Bradford, then you have to roll Chase Daniel out week 1. And how long until people are fed up with Chase Daniel that they're calling for Carson Wentz to come in? Because Chase Daniel, he ain't going to do anything. He ain't going to do anything. Sam Bradford, you're going to be competitive next year with Sam Bradford. And I'm thinking the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie and Roseman are thinking, we can get to the playoffs with Sam Bradford. We are not going to win a Super Bowl with this guy. You know what? I think you can win a Super Bowl with Sam Bradford. Is it going to happen next year? Probably not. But I'm saying Sam Bradford says to your fan base, listen, we're not quitting. We're not quitting. We're not rebuilt. They are rebuilding, but having Sam Bradford on the roster is saying we're reloading. We're building this team. So yeah, if you got Josh Norman, that'd be cool, but it's gonna cost you a lot, and I just don't know if that's gonna work. J. Brad 13 asked Justin Bradley. He asked, do you think we should pursue Josh Norman with our previous free agent quarterback outcomes? I just think he's gonna cost you too much, to be honest with you. I mean, if you did trade Sam Bradford, like Zay said, yeah, you would have the cap space, but you know what? I think you can have some decent corners with Nolan Carroll. Obviously, Eric Rowe's going to be your star. Nolan Carroll. Oh, my God. I'm blanking on his name right now. Jesus. What is the name of the other guy we signed? I'm gonna get back to that. I'm going to Google that when I'm reading the next question. But, listen, I think, you know what? You got some guys, and you're going to have some competition at cornerback. And I think you can go get a cornerback next year and draft You're going to have a second-round draft pick next year, not a first-round pick, so maybe you get your other corner there, maybe sign someone free agency, but I just think Josh Norman is going to cost a little too much money right now. Jason Arcdeacon asks, point in trading up and getting an unproven commodity when we can get a solid running back or great DB with the pick we had at number 8. I liked Cardale or Hackenberg in the later rounds. What's wrong with them? You know, hey, Jason, listen, if you would have told me this a week ago, I would have flipped out, but I eventually, you know, I kind of thought about it. Yeah, they are giving up a lot. And you know what? Eagles better hope they're right with Carson Wentz. I get that. And I would have been fine with Hackenberg and Cardale Jones or Dak Prescott. But specifically Dak Prescott and Hackenberg, I didn't see the huge talent gap between these guys that made Carson Wentz stand out or, you know, Jared Goff stand out. I think that there's just such a dearth and depletion at quarterback that these guys just look so good. If these guys would have been in last year's draft class with Marcus Mariota and James Winston, they would have been like, yeah, whoever gets these two scrubs are really missing out. But I just think that there's no quarterbacks in this class, and these are guys, and the Eagles feel like Carson Wentz, 6'5", 235 pounds, that they got themselves a Big Ben. They got themselves a guy that can hold down a franchise, come in, a big physical guy. So you know what? I see it, but I see your guys' side of the coin too, because I do believe in Bradford. I think Bradford can win a team a Super Bowl in a good situation. The guy when he has time makes all the throws. When he has the offensive line, when he's had time, when the receivers catch the ball, he's looked really good. So I just don't know what the Eagles clearly don't see Bradford as a long-term solution. But like, if he comes in and lights it up, then you have a good problem to have. I'm just excited for next season because I do think that the Eagles are going to be better than 7-9. I don't understand this 5-11, 6-10 stuff because we went 7-9 last year. Everything went wrong and we went 7-9. I think our team is better this year than it was last year going into the season. And maybe some things go right this year, and we go 8-8, we go 9-7, we go 10-6. Everything went wrong last year, and we somehow went 7-9. Sam Bradford was your best player on offense when you were hoping that he would just not get hurt, but he ended up being your best player on offense. So a lot of things go wrong. You go 7-9. I think this year things go right. The Eagles look good, and last year if they make a field goal or two, and somehow don't blow that game against the Miami Dolphins, they could have been in the playoffs. Chip Kelly could have still been here. Could have been a whole different scenario. I don't even know what we'd be talking about right now. But the point is, I think we have a good team moving forward, and I think we're in a good spot right now. I know we trade a lot for Wentz, but you know what? Quarterback is the most important position in the NFL, but it also relies on all the guys that are around them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Thank you for joining me for Bird Buzz. I will see you guys on Monday for the weekly chirp, unless the Eagles do something. Another thing that's absolutely ridiculous, but you know what? You never know. The one thing about these Eagles, they do keep things interesting. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend.